to hook and catch and land your first tarpon, and be it in Boca Grande Pass. I mean, there's no, that's like the pinnacle. Your very first tarpon was caught in the most famous tarpon fishing place in the world.
My obsession started when I was in middle school. I've been on that search ever since, trying to catch my first big tarpon on my own. I've caught a few tarpon that are big, but I'm pretty sure that the only other really big one I've ever caught was my mom gave me the rod.
It's a love-hate relationship. They're a pain in my ass.
Men get really excited about tarpon fishing. Way more excited than they get about literally anything else.
For me, especially the last few years, I've taken a back seat from actually doing the fishing to trying to take more people fishing to get that same experience that I have gotten, hundreds of times. That's basically made me fall in love with tarpon fishing. They're my favorite fish to catch by far.
Fish are crazy. They come out, they're like unicorns of the sea or some shit. They're sparkly.
I don't know, it's the king. They're the strongest, hardest fighting fish.
They're gladiators, they're silver. They really are kings, but they're gladiator kings. They're like the king that'll fight for their army. They'll stand in the front of the line and...
It's a big silver fish that flies, I don't know.
Tarpon fishing in general is exhausting. Can also be frustrating. As far as like getting ready to go fishing, the crabs are it begins and ends right there with the crabs. You either have them or you don't. And down here, I mean, it's a mad rush for crabs.
It's hard enough as it is to find bait around here, to have enough crabs to go to the pass. And then the next task is to find the fish and make sure you're over the fish. Then you have to make a good cast, then you have to present the crab the proper way, and then you gotta hook the damn thing.
It's worth putting in the time and effort to find the crabs, to catch the bait. When it all works out and you hook into a big fish out there, you can't beat it.
There's a whole language that goes to tarpon fishing. And if you're unfamiliar with it, then there's a few terms that the guys really like to use. One of those terms is on the meat. I have come to understand that on the meat is actually when the boat is on top of the fish and there's just a wall of fish underneath you.
Being in the pass like we were, it's crazy. It's controlled chaos. All the boats, all the fish rolling everywhere. People are hooking up left and right. Fish are jumping underneath boats. It's like nothing else.
They show the whole time, so you know they're there. You mark a wall of 30 feet of solid fish beneath you, and you can't get a hit. But that's also what makes it fun. It's challenging and very rewarding at the same time.
I feel like you need guns to catch a tarpon. Or you need a chair with a belt. And you need dedication and patience and timing, you gotta be able to wait. You're hunting a really beautiful creature that's lived for 200 years and evaded being caught.
It seems like every time we're out there, the window opens up for the bite at basically an hour at a time. And you might sit out there for 5 hours and not get a single hit.
It's Florida. Boca Grande Pass is also Florida, so you're not only working with a finicky, tough fish, you're working with finicky weather. So 1 minute it's 70 degrees and pouring rain and wind blowing, and 30 minutes later it's blindingly bright outside and 95 degrees and humid and hot and you're sweating. And
I understand like why that would be such an adrenaline rush and such a moment that is something that you could go on and on just seeking out over and over again. You never know if you're going to catch a bigger one and what that's going to do for you. And the rush of that moment, you can see it.
their mouths are like metal plates. You can't barely get the hook into their mouth. When they jump, you can't let them land the line, and they'll pop you off. If your drag isn't set right, they'll snap you off in a second.
Yeah, they hammer that bait, and I mean, you know it's tarpon, and they take off, and then you know what they're known for is that first jump.
The first 2-3 minutes of tarpon fishing, I mean, that's why you do it. That initial rush that you get, you know, watching them go crazy and jump. I mean, that's the best part. And there's nothing else like it.
It's the coolest fish in the world. They're the most beautiful fish I've ever seen in my life, and they will kick your ass.
I wonder what it's like for them to look at me. They just fought, you know, basically till they're, you know, out of life. I mean, they fight till the death, so they come, you know, up to the surface and they're staring at you. It's not often that you actually get one to the boat, so it's pretty cool when you do get the chance to get it next to the boat and snap a few quick pictures, you know, that could, you know, last a lifetime, so.
Taking a trip with my husband was amazing because I got to share that moment with him and that rush.
I brought my own rod and reel that I purchased myself. I tied my own knots, used my own leader, my own hooks, my own everything, made my own cast, took my own fish, and landed my own fish. And that was my first big tarpon I've ever caught in my life on my own. And my wife was there to not only share the experience with me, but to film the entire thing. And it was probably the most special moment in my fishing life.
There were girls in bikinis and stuff like that hanging out on boats because the guys are like, bikini and boats and stuff and fish, blah. But also, I don't think that I cared at all about that. I think that the look in my husband's eyes when he saw that tarpon was enough for any lady to be kind of jealous over. So I'd recommend that you all go so that you'll feel so much better about anything ever that you've ever seen him see. Like it's literally like the most addicted I think I've ever seen him to anything.